All right, I'm on hole 7. Let's turn the volume down here. Hole 7, par 4. Let's see what I did on this hole. I've been messing around on this hole, trying to think about. Let's see if they pan over here and we can get a big overview of it. Hole 7, par 4. These par 4s are like, we definitely want to work these par 4s. I think we got some serious opportunities on these par 4s. All right, so we got a good little overview here. So the deal is, with a power 3 ball and some overpower, it's trying to clip this right here, and from our trajectory, of course, they put that sand trap right there. So we're going right towards the sand trap. And we've got this tree in contention here, so we've got a very narrow little area down here to hit. So if we're trying to get the ball to come over on this side, if you think about arc, when you're coming through, in order to get it to come over here, we put this tree really into play if we start putting a lot of curl on it. And so it's going to be, I think it's going to be really difficult to get, because this area down here is so narrow, to try and get our trajectory right so that we can come around the bend and get over here in the clear on this side. It's super narrow. Because when you draw your line straight forward, you can, I was looking at more like trying to get up into this area right here, which is at the end of your run. It presents two problems. Number one, this rough is bigger. So if you land on this fairway, if you get first bounce up in here, second bounce right in here, and then you're trying to bleed through that rough, you've got a much bigger rough to bleed through than you do over on this side. So you have a much bigger chance of getting caught up in the rough. And if you can clear the rough, now you've got this little teeny narrow area here, and you have to be right on trajectory. So if you're off trajectory, even on a great left or right, you're going to end up either in the rough or you're going to end up in the sand. Now, the other way we can do it is just to try and lay it up right here in front of the sand, where we come through and we clip this rough and bleed out, and then we've just got a short little chip coming over. I think it's going to be really hard to get on in one. I think no matter what we do here, unless we can get this top one worked out where you could bleed up towards the top, and then you might have a very short chip, I think we're probably going to be in up, somewhere around max wedge, somewhere out either over on this side or over here in front. So let's see how it pans out. I haven't went back and watched. I broke it out and I was shooting individual videos, but I haven't gone back and looked at them to see how good or bad I did. So some of these that I'm posting for Sequoia Springs might be tanked, but the whole deal is just try and get some holes up so that we can actually look at what our options are. So my opponent hits a perfect, and they catch that small little fairway, bleeding forward. So if you don't have enough topspin, or you're not willing to bring out a bigger ball, if they'd have brought out a bigger ball there, they would have ended up in the sand. That sand trap is strategically placed. And you can see how close this tree over here is. That if I put on any curl, let's see if I can pan back just a little. And I'm trying to go for that little area up there to see if I can bleed through it. So you can see how close I am to this tree. If I wanted to get the trajectory to end up on this side of the sand trap, so if I want to end up on this side over here in the clear, here's my line, my ball guide line. So if I want to end up over here, the ball's trajectory is going to come in like this. And so I'm really putting this tree into play. And I don't have a lot of room down in here. You're really going to have to pinch up against it if you wanted to try and get over on this side right here. And I don't think even with side spin, we're either looking at I really think that I'm either looking at trying to get up into this area and bleed through that long rough, which is problematic, or trying to do a rough bump here where I just bleed off the other side and I still have to do the chip up. We'll see how it rolls, because I don't think I hit it perfect, which isn't surprising. Now, with an apocalypse, you may be able to, if you brought out a much bigger ball, you may be able to put the curl on it and wrap it around this tree. But with an extra mile, there isn't enough curl to do that. So with a power 5 ball, you're going to be out there towards your white ring. You may be able to bring it all the way around that tree with an APOC. Hit a 2-ring grate to the right. and doing that type of rough up and just bleeding out in front of that and having this wedge shot. And I don't think this is quite a max wedge. It's pretty close to max, but it's like maybe 3/4 wedge. See if my opponent can get up there with a razor. Wind's blowing due left. Hitting it great. I can't remember if I catch this one perfect or if I catch it great. More than likely, I caught it great. Let's see where I'm at in my club. I'm in wedge, I know. And there's max. So right about in here is about half. So I'm about 3/4 wedge. I'm using a max number, which is 1.3 per ring. So that would be 2.5 rings. And one of the things I wasn't quite 2.5. You can see where I was in the blue ring right there. I was using this new half ring that we have, but that was probably, instead of 2.5, it was probably 2.3. And then I hit it great. Just off the outside of the cup. So there may be some elevation adjustment that we're going to have to do there. I'll have to hit some of these perfect coming in so that we can work on it. But my main goal right now is just to try and figure out how I'm going to approach the holes as far as like coming to them. It would be nice if I could start hitting some perfects, but it's not the big concern right now. The big concern right now is how are we going to attack the hole with the drive. All right, that was hole 7, par 4. So I think that there may be a way to get up there on the left-hand side so that we have a very short little chip in, one of the run-in chips. But I think in most cases, we're probably going to be looking at still having a mid to max wedge shot coming into the green. But I will continue to work on that. And I am going to explore bringing out an apocalypse and see if I can go around the tree and get more on the left-hand side up there by the green. But I think it's probably going to end up being just a straightforward shot. But we'll see how it rolls. All right, that was hole 7, par 4. Thanks for watching.